Okay, next on the list, let's talk about subnet masks. The subnet mask is something you're going to use in conjunction with an IP address. And we'll use IP version 4 addresses for our example. So let's say we have an IP address 192.168.1.100, just as an example. That's our IP version 4 32-bit IP address. The subnet mask, and I'll just label that as SM, for this will normally be 255.255.255.0. And this tells us two things: the network portion of our IP address and the host portion of our IP address. So if we take a look at the 255 and we line that up, we'll see that that equals 192.168.1. It corresponds to that, I should say. Every 255 together creates the network portion of the address. So the network that the computer is on is 192.168.1. Then you have that last octet, that 0. If you see a 0, then that deals with the host portion. And in this case, the host portion is going to be 100. Other classes of IP networks will use different subnet masks. This is a Class C address. In a Class B network, such as, say, 172.16.1.1, just for example, you might have a subnet mask that is 255.255.0.0. So once again, the 255s indicate the network portion. So 172.16 is the network that you're on. And then 0.0 is the host portion. So .1.1 is going to be the host portion of the IP address. And so that's a Class B example. Rounding it out, the biggest networks, enterprise networks, government networks, they use Class A. An example of that might be 10.0.0.1. And the typical subnet mask for a Class A address or a Class A network would be 255.0.0.0. And you can see the pattern here. So in a Class A network, the 10 is the network number. And you can see that is indicated by the 255. The zeros indicate the host number, 0.0.1. You can have lots and lots of IP addresses, 16 million, in the Class A10 network. So again, this is Class A, this is Class B, and this is Class C. This is all in what's known as classful IP addressing, which you may or may not use. You might use CIDR or another type of concept, which we'll cover later. So keep that in mind. You might have classless, but in this case, we're talking about classful IP addressing, classful. So we have our Class A, Class B, and Class C, and it's that subnet mask that defines what portion of the IP address is the network portion and what portion is the host portion. And that's it for this sublesson.